Hello and welcome to the first of our YouTube series covering tea in Enshi, China and Central China more broadly. I'm Alex from ORT, and in today's video we're going to take a look at a tea meet that was hosted at the Selenium Tea Academy. Here's the university where I usually live. In between there's some informal farmland, some partially deconstructed mountains, and the Selenium Tea Academy. There, our friend Zhang Long will talk to us about local tea and let us see a performance. 你先说一下，你可以用中文介绍你这个地方，你这个学院。
好，大家好，我们这里呢是湖北恩施，中国的湖北恩施。那么这里边是我们北纬30度的一个纬度线所经过的地方。那么这里边盛产我们的绿茶和红茶，茶叶是非常丰富的。那么我们今天泡的呢就是一款我们本地的荔橙红，可以说是顶级荔橙红。那我们一起来看一下它的味道。OK，Alex。
好
Are you ready?
I'm ready. So what he's got in here right now is not the golden green, but a kind of black tea, also from the area, called Lichuan Hong, Lichuan Red, if you will. Take a smell. Very sweet.
The tea juggles.
Take a look. The wet leaves.
茶叶的叶底，就花蜜香。
花蜜是什么味道的？
Flower, fragrance.
啊，反正是一种花是吧？
花的味道 ，flower。
花蜜，然后这个蜜是不是
蜂蜜？
啊，蜂蜜的蜜啊？
啊。Nice。
是的。
什么感觉？
天呐，真的很，是比我之前喝的这种梨川红还要稍微甜一点。这个是第一泡是吧？
对，第二泡。
第二泡一直是。Here we have the past and the future of the Tujia minorities' tea production. The tea oil soup for the old timers, and the big selling black tea from Lichuan. This is a similar tea to the one that was introduced by Xi Jinping to Modi, Prime Minister Modi, when he visited the area a couple years back. And ever since then, it's been a huge moneymaker for Enshi and the Tujia minority farm.
我们本地的恩施一路是吧？
是呢，是呢，是呢。我还是用英语介绍。This is from the Huazhi company. They are both a company and a cooperative out in Enshi city proper. They're just 30 minutes north of town, following the Qing River. They're a pretty big deal here, although not universally thought of as the best. The conventional explanation is they do best when it comes to the scent, whereas other companies tend to do better, such as Dabang, for example, tend to do better when it comes to the actual shape of the leaf and flavor. So we're gonna smell the hell out of this one. All right, now it's time for Zhang Long to drop some knowledge bombs on us about the Enshi Yulu and roast this tea sample I brought him from Huazhi Tea.
Tender and 3 greens.
Tender and 3 greens. These are the
3绿，还有3绿，就是3种绿色。就是说它的首先是叶子是绿的，它本来 刚采之前它有一个鲜叶子，茶叶是绿色的，就 green tea leaves，green tea leaves。
啊，
然后它就是它的茶汤泡起来的。
茶汤也是绿的。
茶汤，哎，这是 black tea，
啊
black tea liquid，这是 black tea liquid。然后这个茶的茶汤是 green tea liquid。
啊，
然后还有一个最后一个就是它的泡完之后的茶汤的这个叶底色，这叶底是什么呢？也是绿色的，就是 green tea dregs。
反正 the drag 就是这个叶底，比如说它不像其他绿茶会黄，不会黄，对吧？
非常绿，非常绿，
啊，
特别 tender and fragrance，and it is needle shape。Look at this needle shape。
哎，你就到这里吧。我看
needle shape。
他们做成怎么样了？啊，他们这个玉露，
Enshi。
你应该是见过更成功的、更直的。
是的，是的。
对他们这个可能是做型没有，还是不如。
对，但是它形似松针，这里边的话相对来说还没有那么直 straight。
啊。
Yes。更直的话，它就特别像松针配松针。
那这个可能算是1级，还反正就是。
这应该算的是2级。
2级，是2级。
叶底还很鲜。
Now on to the actual team meet itself proper. During the team meet, we got to enjoy some lovely local tea prepared by graduates of this Selenium Tea Academy. And we also got to see some pretty cool tea-related performances and speakers.
我是今天的茶会主持人罗杰，在这里仅代表湖北一红一绿茶叶集团西茶学院的全体员工，对各位的到来表示热烈的欢迎以及衷心的感谢，再次欢迎大家。
From here, she says some pretty boring generalities about tea, 5,000 years of culture, etc., etc. Nothing new to most of you, I'm sure. But the tea we're about to have brewed for us in the first session is pretty interesting. It's the one that's being cut open right now. That is vine tea, aka Tang Cha, and it is quite the strange thing. Let's listen.
在今天的现场呢，大家也可以看到哈，我们的茶艺师正在给大家带来的是我们为大家准备的第1道迎客茶——来凤藤茶。客从远方来，必以茶相待。藤茶呢，素有土家神茶、黄铜之王的美誉。
Heads up here, this is some marketing we're hearing. Like, there is no official list of magic teas among the two-job minority group. Nor would it necessarily be fair to call this tea the king of brass, although it is rich minerally in brass.
有请各位茶艺师为大家斟茶，也请各位来到我们现场的朋友们共同品鉴，谢谢。
Take a look now as she puts in the vine tea. Just by looking at that color, maybe you noticed in the picture I showed earlier, this is not tea proper, right? This is from a different plant altogether, although they call it tea. It's not Camellia sinensis. It is, however, brewed just like tea. Here she's doing it in a gaiwan, and it's something you'll see commonly at tea houses and tea events in this part of the country. Now watch how quickly she wants to get the vine tea poured into the gongbei. This is not a herbal tea, which will be forgiving. If you let it steep for too long, it can be very, very intense on the throat. So she's got it in the gongbei now and is going to divide it into these cups for herself and the guests to enjoy.
远道而来，我赶快拿来热茶，帮友人驱寒。
Take a look also at kind of the environment of this place. Check out the vibe, if you will. It's pretty casual, all things considered. You know, of course, she's dressed in some nice clothing, which kind of emphasizes the local minority culture. But the rest of us are all dressed quite casually, right? We're eating nuts, seeds, oranges. You know, in the background, you can see some folks who are of a bit more important social standing. We have some local party leaders, and perhaps they're going to handle themselves and the tea in a bit more elegant manner. But this is absolutely a place where you can be relaxed. Oh man, look at her. She's struggling on that vine tea. Vine tea is not something that was widely consumed until quite recently, and it is still most certainly an acquired taste for many people in the tea community. Okay, she's going in for a second infusion now. Take a peek at our tea snacks we got here. These are some, I guess we call them dates in English. These greenish, brownish things, and of course nuts. So, drinking a lot of tea here. Gotta remember to eat your snacks. If this was a Chinese tea house proper, I'm sure there'd be an ashtray here too. People are talking and popping these snacks and smoking as they go almost universally here in China. Although this is a fancier place, it's still pretty casual, right? We aren't official tea taste testers, right? So we don't need to be quite so strict in what we're enjoying along with the tea. Okay, here she is, put it into the gongbei, and we're ready to drink again. Notice how on the second infusion, it was still pretty quick. Don't forget about me. Excellent. So by the second cup, you're a bit more used to it. It's not quite so, dare I say, shocking when it hits you. Take a look at the broth too. It's almost like Anji Baicha or one of those very light green teas you see here. Granted, it's not been brewed very strong. But even if you brew it strong, that broth just get too dark. Really just a very light yellow, very light green. All right, time now for the main event. Enshi Yulu. Boom. Just dropped it in. Now she's gonna close this just washed cup, give her a shake for us, and we're all gonna take a whiff. Notice she just barely opens up the teacup, just barely lifts the lid off that gaiwan so as to keep the maximum amount of stench, if you will, in the cup. Looks like our friend has forgotten to take a whiff. We'll give him a second. Still waiting. Oh, there we go. Take a peek at that. So notice, as Zhang Long was saying earlier, this tea is going to be straight, it's going to be dark, almost looks like pine needles, right? This is exactly what you want to see for the Enshi Yulu. All right. Okay. Just making the infusion here. Now, whereas most people, most farmers, even some people working in tea shops will not drink the first infusion. They'll just quickly wash it, so to speak, with tea and then dump it out. We are going to drink this first infusion. The zeitgeist here is now really you're supposed to drink the first infusion, although traditionally, historically, maybe you wouldn't. Now we're going to drink it. The theory behind that being, although the taste might not be quite so good as the second infusion, there's actually a lot of more tasteless substances in the tea which are important in that first infusion. And if you just dump it out, it's kind of a waste. At this point, we kind of sideline the tea, and then the first part of the entertainment portion of this event is going to be the production and tasting of the local indigenous tea soup. Check it out.
现场制作的确实，
看一个现场，
大家可以更加的深刻的宁静感受一下我们的油茶哈。
干那么快，你干慢一点呢。还有的，那边是不是菜？有一个人没有啊？对，他没人，
Hey. It was pretty good. Now check this out. Now it's time for some patriotic songs. Get ready.
大家一起唱吧。
大家一起唱啊！
真的都是个祖国。
无论我走到哪里，都留下一首赞歌。我歌唱每一座高山，我歌唱每一条河，袅袅炊烟，小小村落，路上萦绕着。我心爱的祖国，我永远紧依着你的希望。你用你那母亲爱过和我诉说。感谢大家，感谢大家。然后啊，今年在所以说非常不平凡的一年，金融扶贫、疫情防控、抗洪救灾。而且呢，按现在天气预报的预测，今年这里天气情况可能也不是很理想，雨水多，温度特别低。在这种情况下呀，这个我们的茶艺学校啊，伸出援手，给我们社区贫困户和困难对象捐赠了44串棉穗，还加其他的什么4件套等等一些东西，为我们社区送去了温暖，送去了关爱。在此，我想说2句话。第一句话是祝愿我们的学校越办越好，越办越红火。第二句话送给我们的各位学员，希望你们在这个学校学有所成，然后把所学的技能回报社会。我不讲回报学校，回报社会，助力金融扶贫运动。
All right, that's it. That's the end of the tea meet. Join us next time as we go explore other places in the Enshi Autonomous Prefecture and Hubei province as a whole.